Welcome back, guys. Today we are going to talk about determining your offer on a property. And we're going to use this property as an example. This is one that we just closed on. It is in Little Rock, Arkansas. So, to give you guys an idea of the first thing that we need to do before figuring out an offer. So the first thing that we need to do is talk to a homeowner and figure out the condition of the property. And then if you've watched our other video on scripts, you know that when you go through the script, you're going to get all this property information from the homeowner, or if you want to meet the homeowner in person, get the information, take photos. We need that first so that we can determine our offer. And our offer is going to be based on the 75% rule. So we take 75% of ARV and we subtract the rehab amount. You're probably thinking, Ben, what the hell is ARV? What do I do for rehab amount? How do I figure that out? Bear with me. We're going to get to all of that in this video. But first and foremost, we need to start off with having that information. So we have to have the information about the property condition, either from the homeowner verbally or from photos that we take or from walking the house ourselves. So this is our formula. 75 times, that's 0.75, times ARV equals MAO. Okay, so Ben, what does that mean? Well, 75% of the ARV. The ARV is the after repair value, or what we think the house could sell for if it was completely updated, completely fixed up. If we're wholesaling the property, that doesn't matter to us, other than to get an accurate number so we can figure out what we can pay to then go and wholesale it to a flipper. Okay? So there's a lot of flippers that are willing to buy at 80% of ARV minus rehab. But we're going to use 75% of ARV minus rehab so that we have that 5% built in that can be our fee, our assignment fee if we're going to assign it, right? If you're going to purchase the property to flip it or to hold as a rental, a lot of lenders lend off of the 75% rule. So they will give you 75% of the after repair value for the total project. So they'll actually be able to pay for those rehab costs in there as well, as long as you're buying under 75% of after repair value. Okay? So how do we figure out the after repair value? How do we even determine what that is? So first and foremost, what we want to do to determine after repair value is we need to look for properties that are similar to the property that we're looking at. We're looking for within a half mile. We're looking for same beds, baths. We're looking for plus or minus 20% on the square footage. Okay? So if we have 1,000 square foot home, we have a 3-bed, 2-bath. We're looking for other 3-bed, 2-baths that have between 800 and 1,200 square feet. Okay? So what we want to do is look at this property, for example. This is a property that we just closed on. 2317 South Summit Street. I know from talking to the homeowner that this is a 4-bed, 2-bath. Okay? And if we go into Zillow and we put the address in, it will give us even more information. 4-bed, 2-bath, 2,072 square feet. So we need to look within a half mile for other 4-bed, 2-baths that have between 1,600 and 2,400 square feet. Okay? And we want to look for properties that are completely updated. So how do we do that? Well, we click out of here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to look at Google, figure out where our property's at. So we're at Highway 70 in South Summit. So let's look on Zillow. There's Highway 70, and where is South Summit? There it is. Bingo, right there. So we've got this one at 24th and Summit on Highway 70. 24th and Summit on Highway 70, okay? So we need to look for properties that have sold. Click apply. We want 4-bed, 2-bath, click apply. We want home type to be the same as what we're looking at. So we want other houses. Click apply. And then we'll go through here and sold in the last. We want to do 6 months. If we have to move it out to 12 months to get more records, which it looks like we probably will, we can push that out to 12 months. We need enough properties to be able to confidently come up with an after repair value. All right. So we've got these properties that we can look at. So let's take a look at this 360. This is the 4-bed, 4-bath, 3,100 square feet. That is way beyond the scope of what we have. So one of the other things that we can do to get more results is drop down the bedrooms, bathrooms if it's above 3 beds. Okay. So drop down that bedroom to 3 and see what else we got. So here's a 3-bed, 3-bath, 2,400 square feet. So we said we could be between 1,600 and 2,400 square feet. An extra bathroom's not a massive deal. Kind of counteracts with that extra bedroom that we have that this property doesn't. So this is at 300. And we're looking for properties that are fully updated, okay? So if we click through these photos here, the outside looks good. The inside is older still, but it's clean. So we've got wood that's not terribly outdated. A lot of what we're looking for in updated and modern homes is more of that white trim finish, similar to this. We're looking for sanded floors. And then the kitchen's going to be the big thing. We're looking for stainless steel appliances and a hard surface countertop. So this is a wood countertop, not as ideal as granite or quartz. We have this really old rustic, I guess they would call that, oven stove. And we have 2 sinks for some reason. So this is coolish, I guess. Not super updated. Again, you see how the stairs are not fully sanded, refinished, and ready to roll. But it's nice. So it's not like this thing wasn't well taken care of. And another thing we can look at is the bathroom. So we got newer tile here. We've got newer tile here. I wouldn't necessarily want that shower, but it's cool to some people, I guess. And again, we've got newer tile in this bathroom, another weird shower, and they finished the attic space. So these are actually the rafters that they finished here. And then another cool rustic looking decorative bathroom. That chandelier is pretty sweet. And they have a little patio area as well. Okay. So they did a lot to this house. It's got a little bitty garage in the back. Cool view. And this thing sold for $300. So I would call this a comparable. It has 1 extra bathroom. It has 1 less bedroom, and within our range on square feet. So we know we have 1 that closed at $300. And this closed on 1/15 of 25, which was 14 days ago. So then we need to find some other properties that are comparable. So we have another 3.3. That's 2,500 square feet. We can still use that. So let's look at the photos on this one. Nice exterior. Looks like they did a bunch of work there. New paint job. Now we get inside. You can tell the floors haven't been fully updated, but this is what I'm talking about with this white trim. So this is more modern, that white trim look. Let's get to the kitchen. There we go. So the kitchen, you can tell we have some sort of hard surface. They have to have more photos of the kitchen. There's no way that's it. There we go. So we've got a hard surface stone here. And then we've got this butcher block on the island. Stainless steel appliances. Yellow, not my favorite, but updated fixtures. See, they have the recessed lighting. So this is pretty updated. And if we keep going through the house, we can see that this is updated too. We have white doors, white trim, hardwood floors. Again, updated bathroom, really updated bathroom. So there's a lot of cool factor to this house. It's not what I would call completely updated, but it's pretty close. And then a cool little patio outdoor area as well, just like that last one. So similar. This one closed at 305. I would say that's another comparable. Let's look at some of these that wouldn't be what we're looking for. So 1,300 square feet. That's well below what we're looking for, and it's a 3.2. Not similar to what we're looking at. This thing, 3.2, 1,600 square feet. I bet this thing's super outdated. They don't even give us photos, so I would say that that would probably be the case. A 3.2, 2,000 square feet. You can tell how this layout is completely different than what we're working with. So these properties don't really compare. And then that's a shack that doesn't compare. This thing, again, not really the 3-story property that we're working with. So you can't take these as comparables. They're just not what we have with this larger house, 3 stories, cool little patio area on these two houses. So we can use these two as comparables. And this one's a 4-bed, 4-bath, 3,100 square feet. Doesn't really compare. It's almost 1,000 square feet more. Has 2 extra bathrooms. Can't really use that as a comparable either. So we've got these two. Ideally, we find 3 properties that we can use as comparables, but we only have 2 here. So we take essentially the average of the properties that we find. So 300 and 305, we've got 3025. That's not an after repair value. What you want to do is round down to the nearest tenth. So we've got 300,000 would be our after repair value. So you want to round down to the nearest 10,000. Okay. So don't put 3025 as your after repair value. People are going to know that you're a rookie if you put that as your after repair value. It's either the nearest 10 or the nearest 5, and you always want to round down just to be conservative with your after repair values. Okay. So we know that we got it at 300. That's our ARV. So if we multiply 300 by 0.75, that's going to get us the first part of our formula. So 300 times 0.75 is 225. Now we have to subtract off our rehab cost so that we can determine what our MAO is. And you may be asking, Ben, what's our MAO? MAO stands for Max Allowable Offer. So it's the most that we can pay for a house and still have room to wholesale it, or still have room to make plenty of money on a flip, or still be under the parameters for a lender so we're not bringing a ton of cash to the table. Okay? 75% rule. If you want to be super savvy and go to 70, great. Go to 70. More money in your pocket. All right? So now we need to figure out what our rehab costs are. And what we've done is created this cool little sheet here that will walk you through rehab costs. So under 1,500 square feet, a light remodel, 18,750. So this entire sheet is based off of a lot of data that we've pulled from rehabs across the country. All right, 1,500 to 2,500 square feet. If you got a light remodel at 25,000, you can go through this. But one thing I will tell you, a light remodel may say flooring, paint, and small repairs. This part is where a lot of investors get it wrong. This or the after repair value. A lot of investors will go too high on the after repair value. Okay? Put themselves in a bad spot. A lot of investors will go too low on the rehab amount. I can tell you, out of the hundreds of houses that we've flipped, there have been less than 5 that have been a light remodel. Those almost don't happen. Those are houses that were recently flipped or rehabbed maybe a couple years ago, and they just need a few quick touch-up things to get them done. Okay? Most of them are going to be at least the average remodel. So that would be things like flooring, paint, small repairs, carpet, kitchen, baths. If you have a heavy remodel, you know it's a heavy remodel because it needs everything. It needs windows, it needs siding, it needs drywall, HVAC, roof. It may not need every single one of those things, but if it needs more than one of those things, it's going to be a heavy remodel. So I'm going to show you photos of this property on Summit that we're looking at that we have an after repair value of $300,000. We need to determine what our rehab cost is so that we can figure out what our MAO would be. So we've got the photos right here. What we're going to do is click through these. So this is our house, very similar to the two that we were looking at, except for when you walk inside. Very old, outdated, gross, disgusting, stuff everywhere. Cool little screened-in porch, or cool little porch, but again, gross. Just full of garbage, stinky, floors need repaired, ceilings need repaired. It needs everything, as you can see. The siding needs to be completely redone. When you see HVAC or window units sticking out, you know there's probably an HVAC problem, or it doesn't have central heating, okay, or cooling. So you want to watch out for that. That would be a big ticket item that would put it in the heavy remodel. The roof also needs to be replaced. The panel needs to be upgraded. This room actually looks pretty decent. A little paint, a little sanding of the floors, replace these fixtures, probably be good in there. But the rest of the house is a mess. It needs a lot of work. The windows as well. If you notice, these windows, when they lift up like that, it's usually a handle. It's usually a wooden window, and it usually needs to be replaced. If it's wooden windows and you're going to do a full remodel, you need to probably get those replaced. There's some issues up here. That's usually indication of foundation issues. And then we have painted wood here. Not great. It just needs everything. The house needs a lot of work. Broken windows. You can see these are wooden windows right here and right here. So all the windows need to be replaced. The roof needs to be replaced. The HVAC needs to be replaced. Has foundation issues. Okay? So this is going to fall under, if we go back to our little quick sheet, we know that we are at, let's check our square footage again. We know that we are at 2,000 square feet. So if we go back to our little cheat sheet, 1,500 to 2,500 square feet, we're going to be on heavy remodel all day long, okay? So we know it's probably $100,000 on the remodel side. So we have our ARV. That's $300,000. We've multiplied it by 0.75 to get us down to $225,000. Now we subtract off our rehab amount and figure out what our max allowable offer is for this house. So if we subtract off $100,000, that puts us at $125,000. $125,000 is our max allowable offer. However, we don't usually want to start at our max allowable offer. We want to start below that so we have room for negotiation. Typically what I do is I will start $15,000 less than my max allowable offer. If the seller takes it, great. If they don't, I know I've got room to move up. So on this property in particular, I would offer $110,000. The cool thing is, when you get good at this business, when you've been doing this for a long time, and when you understand sellers' motivations and you can dig into their why, and you get really, really good at connecting with people and figuring out what they need, what they'll be happy with walking away with, you can buy these things for deep, deep discounts. Guys, we bought this property for $58,000. So let's say we spent $100,000 on it. We're at $158,000. And if we sell it at $300,000, which we probably will, and it may be higher, there's a massive amount of profit in there. Over $100,000 of profit built into this deal because of how good we bought the deal. We've closed on this thing. We didn't wholesale it, but we could probably wholesale this deal, meaning we close on it, we clean it out, and we put it back on the market, spend a couple $1,000s cleaning it out, and put it back on the market for probably $120,000. Because if somebody else comes in and spends $100,000, they're still below their 75% rule, and everybody's happy. For a recap of what we've talked about, when we're determining what we can pay for a property, our MAO, our max allowable offer, we use the 75% rule. 75% of ARV, of after repair value, minus rehab costs, equals our MAO, our max allowable offer. And how do we find ARV? Well, we find similar properties within a half-mile radius that have, if not the same, plus or minus 1 bedroom bathroom, and plus or minus 20% on the square feet. And then we find properties that are, if not completely updated, very close to completely updated, take 2 to 3 of them, average their sale price, round down to the nearest $10,000, and that's our after repair value. Then we multiply that by 0.75. We figure out our rehab based off of the photos or based off the property condition that a homeowner tells us. And we take that rehab cost, subtract it off of 0.75 times the ARV. That gets us to our max allowable offer. Okay? So the 75% rule gets us close enough. If you're going to flip a house, we have a bunch of deal analysis tools that we use that'll get you much more dialed in on your rehab. But for the sake of making offers and the sake of getting as many offers out there as you possibly can, don't worry about being perfect on the rehab amount, being perfect on the after repair value. The more you practice, the closer you're going to get, the better you're going to get at this. So that's all for this video. Hopefully you learned a lot about after repair value, about max allowable offer, and how to come to those numbers. I have linked below the questions that we ask homeowners to understand the property condition, which are right here. These are all the questions that we ask to figure out if it's a light, an average, or a heavy remodel. I also have our handy dandy rehab calculator quick sheet linked below as well. So you should have all the tools you need now to go out and determine your after repair value, your max allowable offer, and submit offers.